When you first start turkey hunting, you tend to think that turkeys are dumb birds who scream their heads off and run into open fields to beat up little plastic versions of themselves. It's easy to think that if you are in a decent area and you're at least passable with your turkey calls, then turkey hunting is easy, and it can be that way sometimes, but most of the time, more hunters leave the woods empty-handed than grinning with a turkey slung over their shoulder. It's also easy to think that you need these high-dollar calls, these fancy decoys, TSS, and red dots on your shotguns in order to be successful, especially if you've had some very tough turkey seasons, but you definitely don't need all that. Good woodsmanship kills far more birds than that high-dollar gear. And all of that starts with a basic understanding of what turkeys are doing this time of year. So in this video, we're going to go over 3 turkey behaviors that you need to know so you can have a more successful turkey season. But before we go over this information, do me a favor, and if this is your first time on my channel, hit that subscribe button and make sure you click that bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a video. I'd also like to thank Legal Heat for sponsoring this channel. Be sure to check out their website at the link below if you are looking for concealed carry training. And the first thing you need to know about turkey behavior during the spring is, why are toms even gobbling? A tom's gobble is the signature of spring season. It allows us to know where the turkeys are and allows us to game plan how to set up on them. But why are they even doing it? I'm sure we all know the answer to that, but it's to attract hens. But we don't seem to apply that knowledge to our hunting strategies. It seems like, I don't know if it's hunting shows, but especially new hunters seem to think that when you're calling, you're pretending to be a hen, that turkey gobbles the entire time and comes sprinting into your decoys if you have decoys set up. I don't know what it is that makes us think that's the way it happens, but it's really not. In nature, it is the opposite. Calling alone typically does not get them to come sprinting into your setups. That's usually your decoys. They're one to go in there and beat up that competition. Now, that definitely doesn't mean that calling alone won't bring in a tom, because it definitely will, but it tends to be a slower, stealthier approach. So if normally a hen comes to the tom, why does calling work? Well, the simple answer is they get curious. They want to know why this hen that's been yelping back, he's been gobbling, responding, why isn't she coming in? Why isn't she coming to me? And they get curious, sometimes desperate, and they want to go see why this hen is stuck where she is. Then, if you have decoys, that's when they'll come sprinting into your setup. If you don't have decoys, they will kind of slowly putter around, try to figure out where the hell this hen is that's been yelping, and then that's when you've got hopefully good woodsmanship, you're set up in a good stealthy spot, that's when you can get them. The second turkey behavior that's probably one of the most frustrating parts of turkey hunting is, why do toms get hung up? It is a problem we have all faced. We've got a tom that is gobbling his head off. He's responding to every little soft yelp and cluck you make, sometimes even cutting you off before you finish your sequence. It seems like he's getting closer, and then all of a sudden he's just gobbling back and forth. He's not really moving any closer. No matter how many times you call back at him, how many times he responds to that calling, he is not going anywhere. And if you remember back to the last tip, understanding why a tom gobbles in the first place, you would know that he is expecting that hen to finish coming into him. The mistake here is when turkey hunters get impatient and they feel like they need to make a move. They've got to try to sneak in on this tom. And while you can sometimes pull this off, it is a very risky move that takes a lot of patience and a lot of skill to sneak in on an alert tom. The better move, or I shouldn't say the better move, the more conservative move, the safer move, is to just stay where you are and shut up. Overcalling is a big reason why toms get hung up. If you've got a hen that's all excited, yelping her head off, that tom's going to think, well, she's coming on into me, I don't need to go anywhere. And so the safer move here is to just put the calls away and try to wait him out. It's like giving him the cold shoulder.
It's an Amish technique. It's like slapping someone with silence.
He'll get so curious where this hen went. She was all excited. Where the hell did she go? So he'll try to sneak into that last spot he heard her, and that's where you'll be waiting to ambush him. Another strategy for a hung up tom usually requires 2 hunters. You can get away with it with one, but it's a lot harder to pull off. But you'll have one that's the hunter and one that's the caller. So that tom's hung up, so you have the caller kind of back away as he's softly calling, slowly drifting farther and farther back, making that tom think that that hen is leaving. And so as he's dragging that tom closer, the hunter is still here to ambush him. It's a great tactic. Like I said, it's a lot easier with 2 hunters. And the third turkey behavior that you need to understand is how to tell the dominant birds from the submissive ones. The reason this is an important skill to learn is that these different kinds of birds require different strategies to hunt them. When you see a group of turkeys out in a field, start paying attention to what they're doing and how they're relating to each each other. A dominant tom will be in strut a lot more often, and you may even catch him running off some smaller younger birds. When you have a dominant bird that is with a group of hens, you're not going to get him to break away. It doesn't matter how good you are at calling, he's not leaving those hens he already has. So what you have to do is you have to play his dominance against him. Sneak into 100 yards or so, and if you are a decoy person, put out a Jake or a Shredder decoy. Now, the distance here is important because you have to get close enough that that tom feels threatened that this other tom could sneak off with his hens, but not so close that you spook him or the hens with him. That is a lot of eyes to dodge. And this is why turkey fanning has become such a popular way to hunt turkeys. And I don't care what you say, I think turkey fanning is dumb and it's cheating. So come at me. So if you don't have a Jake or a tom decoy, or you don't like using decoys, you could still get this done by using a gobbler yelp or a gobble call. It's not as easy as using those decoys or that cheating method of fanning, but it can still get the job done. And so on the flip side, to hunt a submissive bird, you can still hang around that bigger group of turkeys. What is a group of turkeys? Is that a gaggle? That's geese. That flock of turkeys, that's the word. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. You can still hang around that flock of turkeys and get that submissive bird to come to you. That submissive bird is probably going to hang around those edges, hoping either one of those hens breaks off that larger group or another hen is kind of making her way to join them. And so that submissive bird is probably going to hope to cut off this hen. And so a submissive bird who's had his ass kicked a few times or just doesn't want to get into fights is more likely to come into a lone hen yelping. This can also work if you've got multiple toms in that same group. You can sometimes get that less dominant one, the more submissive bird, to break away from the other ones and come check out this other hen where he doesn't have to worry about that competition. So that was 3 turkey behaviors that you need to understand in order to be more successful this turkey season. If you've got any more behaviors that you've picked up on that have helped you be more successful, leave those down in the comments below. Hit that like button if you like this video, share it if you found it helpful, and make sure that you are subscribed so you can stay informed.